Well, Huey Bowman, first come off the rank. Your first initial thoughts? Barrier 5.
Yeah, it's not a bad barrier. Hopefully be able to settle a bit closer than I did in the run of the Rose the other day. And
that'll be good, Anthony said.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
You know, mate, you've won this when you come out of the blocks flying back in 2003 and 4 in top swing and, of course, and then the following year, Doonan. It'd be nice to get another one.
Yeah, and I rode...
Oh, of course, Dewporth for Anthony. Well, so, you'd like to chase 4?
Yeah, it'd be good. And it's funny because the most confident I went into the race was on racing to win.
He ran second.
And paratroopers went past me like I was tied to the fence. But it's been a good race to me, and it's been a good race for Sydney racing too, because it's really produced some champion 3-year-olds. It's produced a Cox Plate winner and a couple of Caulfield Guineas winners. So it's certainly a race that produces the form horses for the spring coming up.
Anthony, Monica chose barrier, where was it, 8, 9. It wasn't a happy look.
Well, it offers a challenge for a horse like Your Song. He usually races, thereabouts on the speed. And
just put the mic a little bit closer. It makes it easier.
Peter's going to need to make a decision about what he does, fairly early on. About whether he sort of presses forward or comes back in behind them, but you can't come out half-hearted from that barrier. So whichever way we decide to go, that's what'll happen, and it's going to make his task a little tougher. His
last run was a huge step up in grade for him, and he was terrific behind Piero.
Yeah, like he had the others covered pretty comfortably, I thought. I mean, the two best runs, not being totally one-eyed, but out of the race were Ninth Legion and Your Song. Ninth Legion got back off a wide gate that day, had a bit of traffic to get out and into the clear and hit the line really well, ran the same last half mile as Piero did. And the other guy, Your Song, was a sensational run back on the inside. It was probably not the place to be on the day, but given he'd drawn inside and the way the race unfolded, he had no choice. And both horses ran very well, and I really think they'll be in the finish of this race on the weekend.
Knowing that you like to race against the best all the time, Anthony, I bet you're absolutely shattered and disappointed that Gay elected to take Piero to Melbourne and miss this race.
I had one of the boys around there to check the brands and make sure he was the one that got on the float.
You hate to see it turn up on Saturday. Peter Beer, the CEO of Patinack Farm. Well, Pete, the talk in the whole month leading up was that Nachita won't be there. Well, they're going to have All Too Hard there. We've come to the crux, and the fillies there and the big boys not.
Richie, we just felt that Nachita was going so well, so she should have a chance. All Too Hard, we just feel he needs a mile. And there's a good mile at Randwick in a couple of weeks, which I think he'd be better suited for.
How's the filly done? It's going to be a step up, there's no doubt, on Saturday. She's been ultra impressive in what she's done to date, and I think you would have been pretty happy. Barrier 6.
I think the barrier was the least of our worries. She'll ping away, but we've got to remember she's only won 2 races, one in the winter. She came back and won the Surround very well, but this is a step up again against the Colts.
Are you trying to talk it down?
No, I'm just... it's going to be a very hard race to win.
Andrew, well, you're one of the lucky owners of Sham Express. There's a team of you that just grabbed the microphone to your right. I suppose you're one of the owners that had to fork out a bit of money to pay the late entry fee to get into the Bortoli Wines Golden Rose. Was it a tough decision?
Not really, Rich. Not after the way he came back in the McNeil. We were very happy with the way he went that day. So, this race fits with his program. The distance is good, stepping up as well. And obviously the prize money is very attractive. Not only for now, but for a colt to win this race in the future. It's a very attractive prospect.
I've been shares in plenty of horses. I've never had a horse in $1 million race. Must get the blood boiling. Must be exciting.
It is exciting, and it's a privilege to be able to participate in a race like this. But we've been there before with Shamrocker as well. So we're old hands at this.
Yeah, now you're getting spoiled, so you get another one.
Right.
Mate, good luck on Saturday.
Thank you very much.
And Anthony, just back to you. We've talked about the filly. She's, I suppose, the X factor. Is she your big danger, Nachita?
Oh, I think so. I mean, she's drawn well enough to get a similar sort of run to the one she had when she won last start. Does have the X factor. Wonderful turn of foot and a very good filly. But stepping up in grade certainly here, and against the Colts, never simple for the fillies. I think there's only been one filly win the race. That was Forensics in the history of it, as short as that history might be, but nevertheless, it's a tough deal for the fillies to step up to this grade.
The last couple of years, Hugh, it's been a little bit different. It's been smaller fields. Before, I mean, when Toorak off won, it was charge of the light brigade. There was speed on the whole way. This is more or less going to be a battle of tactics from you and your mates.
Yes, it will. And just on a first glance, I can't see a natural leader there, and that, you know, without a natural leader, tactics really do come into play. And it's important to go out there with an open mind in these sorts of races, but by the same token, you can't ride your horse, you know, out of its comfort zone either. You know, you've got to, they are animals and they tend to have a pattern, but that's why I'm pleased with my draw. It will give me a couple of options, and I don't know why the race has got small. The first few years, the better horses tended to avoid the race, but the form out of it proves so strong that as time's gone on, and obviously it's up to Group 1 status now, it's much more appealing for the better performed autumn 2-year-olds, and they tend to target it, and I think that's why the field's maybe not as big as it was the first few years.
You come out of the gates flying last Saturday, the feature race, the Chelmsford, you won on your old mate Dan Lee. It'd be nice to back it up with the first Group 1 of the season in Sydney.
Yeah, well, it certainly would. It's a great race to win, and yeah, it'd be good to get the runs on the board